What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Autoxin Gaming today, people. Today I'm going to be doing a deck breakdown of the top 8 decks from the Speed Duel League Win a Box 20 tournament that just got finished. They had 73 people, I think. I could be wrong on that number, but I'm pretty sure it's 73. And so yeah, it just concluded. We got our top 8, and I think we have some pretty interesting decks to be going over today. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into that. First, we're going to be going over Tenchi's Moss deck. Now, if you don't know what Moss is, I assume you've been living under a rock for a little bit. It's been the best deck for like 2 years, but, you know, if it's not broke, play it. That's my opinion on it. So this is Tenchi's list. The monster lineup is pretty standard of the 2 Moss, 3 Parasite, 3 Breaker, 3 DD Warrior Lady. But then we get into the spell cards, and that's where it becomes different. So we're only playing 2 Book of Moon in this, and then 1 Nobleman of Crossout. This is genuinely for the DD Warrior Lady. That way you can pop the DD Warrior Ladies your opponent has set to protect your Moss from getting banished. So I like that tech a lot. Going to the trap lineup is also really unique in my opinion. We're still playing the triple Zomas in the trap lineup, which is fine. You kind of have to with this deck since you lose your summoning ability during your turn if you use the Parasite and the Moss ability. So you kind of need these if you're planning on going into that. Wall Disruption is played at 2 in this deck as well, which is a little unique. I don't really see it often. We're actually main decking only 1 Dust Tornado, which is really cool. Also, to finish off the main deck list, we have 2 Floodgate Trap Hole, which is really nice. Our side deck is going to be double Jinzo, I assume, for Burn Warrior, 2 D-Fusion for Dragoons or any fusion deck that he would run into, and then 2 Mind Crush for the Cyberblade matchup. But yeah, that's Tenchi's deck. Next on our list is actually going to be Slash Revolver. This is going to be his Spellproof Armor deck. So again, we're still in top 8, so without further ado, you're going to jump into this. The standard for this has become really 3 Jinzo, 3 Cyber Dragon, 3 Allied Justice Colossus. That's like what I've been seeing a lot of when it comes to Spellbook, especially if I'm like spectating on Dueling Book. Everybody's playing triple of these copies, so highly recommend playing all 3 of these cards at 3. The other monster that they play is Tenchi in this deck, and they're playing at 2 to get that little bit of draw power in. It's kind of risky in this current format, in my opinion, because of the knock. So Tenchi gets knocked, you could have to banish both of them. So that's a little unfortunate, but if during game 1, Tenchi should be fine. Soul Exchange is going to be played at 3 because you play so many different monsters in this deck that need to be tribute summoned. So you still the opponent's monster, summon your Jinzo. Hey, you got a Spellproof Jinzo on the field. That's insane. Summoner's Art makes it to where your Allied Justice Colossus is played at 5 in this deck, which is awesome. 2 Book of Moon in the main deck, and then 1 Overload Fusion, which is becoming a common occurrence in Spellproof lists. So yeah, he main decks 1, which is really cool. And then a Psychic Shockwave, which is kind of like a trap stun in this deck. You activate it, you summon when your opponent activates a trap card, discard one of your plethora of spell cards, and then you summon your Jinzo, turning off all trap cards. So it's really nice. It's a very good card to help tech out your Jinzo. And you play it at 3, so you're more than likely going to have it in deck when you have your Shockwave. Going over to the side deck, we have 1 Waking the Dragon, which is a really interesting choice going into Spellbook or Spellproof, but hey. 2 Mind Crush, this is again for the Cyber Angels because that deck is crazy. 1 Cosmic Cyclone, 1 D-Fusion for the fusion matchup. This is for Moss. And then 1 Solitary Sword of Poison, which I think is really nice because like if you go against a deck that these guys can't climb, this becomes your out, as well as your soul exchanges. And yeah, going into the extra deck, the only one that really matters here is going to be the Chimera Tech Overdragon, because that's what we're trying to summon off the Overload Fusion, and then the Cyber End Dragon, which is summoned off of the Waking the Dragon, or the, again, actually, Cyber End's light, so yeah, never mind on that. We do have the opportunity to play any of these 4 cards in this deck, but once they hit the graveyard, then Spellproof gets shut off. So usually you're trying to summon your Cyber End Dragon with this. Next, we're going to be going over Nikki's list. They got top 8 today, or during this tournament, I mean. And they were playing XYZ Union Combination. Union Combination pretty much turns all your fusion monsters into ABC Dragon Buster for the summoning mechanic. So you just banish monsters you control or pieces in your graveyard, and you can summon any of your fusion monsters. So that's pretty nice. The monster lineup for this is pretty standard. We're playing 3Z Metal Tank, 2 Y Dragon Head, 2 X-Head Cannon. It's pretty much standard in every deck. You get the Union Hanger here as to search your Ys, normal summon the Ys, use Union Hanger to equip the Zs, and then, yeah, you banish those materials, bring out your YZ Tank Dragon, then use your Union Scramble to special summon them back from your banished card zone. That's pretty much how it goes. This is like standard for the deck. 3 Book of Moon, 2 Foolish Burial to get pieces of the graveyard, and then 2 Cosmic Cyclone for the Moss matchup, or, you know, get rid of pesky spell and trap cards. The side deck lineup is the least standard thing about this deck. It plays 1 Lost Wind, 1 Mind Crush, 1 Defusion, another copy of, or this is their only copy of Offerings, because usually XYZ plays triple Offerings in their deck. Night Beam, and then their third copy of Foolish Burial, which I thought was really odd, but hey, if you need that extra dump, you need that extra dump, I guess. And then the standard fusion lineup, which is the double XYZ Dragon Cannon, the double YZ Tank Dragon, the XY Dragon Cannon, and the 1 XZ Tank Cannon. Lastly, on our list of top 8, we're actually going to be going over JDG Justice. We're playing his Rune for Grow's Cat deck profile. So without further ado, just going to jump into it. If you know what Rune for Growth does, you target level 3 or lower monster on the field, against 300 attack times its level. This is once per turn, and yeah, you can. It doesn't have any downsides, so it's crazy. So you do it to cards like Amethyst Cat, which gain 900 attack points, make it into a 2100 beater that can attack your opponent directly. So yeah, it's really good. Doing the same with Raging Flame Sprite, gains 900 attack, making it into a 1000 damage, but then it gains 1000 more attack points on top of that, making it 1100 attack points to your next turn. And then, you know, with the Rune for Growth, that's 2000 damage to your opponent. And if this thing survives on the field and attacks directly 3 separate times, you literally win the game with it. So it is kind of bonkers to have. And then Lava Golem is also in this deck to destroy spell and trap cards, or not spell and trap cards, monster cards that are too problematic for this deck to solve. You just summon the Lava Golem, bring out the Sprite, attack directly with the Sprite for 1000, Lava Golem on the next turn will make them lose 1000 damage, and then you can use the Nightmare Wheels to stop the Lava Golem. Also, we play with Boku in this deck at 3 to protect our pieces from being destroyed and from taking damage. Triple Floodgate Trap Hole, that way, you know, we're attacking directly anyway. We don't have to climb anything in this deck. 3 Wall of Disruption. Again, this is just to protect our monsters. Shrinking anything down in this format is crazy. Wall of Disruption is definitely our best battle trap. And then Zone of the Spirit is played at 2 as well, because it is the best card in the game. Lava Golem gets a second copy of itself in the side deck for this deck. Dodorio is also here, I assume to destroy more problematic monsters if you run into them. Some interesting cards that I usually don't see in side decks are like Golden Ladybug, because you reveal it from hand and gain life points and keep yourself in a winning position, especially against a burn deck that uses Nightmare Wheels. You can actually keep yourself alive for much longer with this in your hand. Swarm of Locusts is the other card that it's really weird. It destroys spell and trap cards every time it's flipped face up, and you can set it face down. If you've ever played Pac-Man, that's definitely, you'd know what this card does. I also played it in Clown Control, funny enough. But yeah, when it's flipped face up, you just pop a spell or trap card, flip it face down. I guess it's good for the stall decks, but once it gets Nightmare Wheeled face down, it's kind of useless. Nightmare Wheel gets a third copy of itself in the side deck as well, and then we play Waking the Dragon to summon any of these 6 monsters. Going into our top 4, we're going over the Millennium Eye Mind Crush deck. Timothy is the one that played this. I think it's Mr. Potato. I could be wrong, though. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, this is their deck. It's a really interesting deck, and one of the most interesting decks in the entire top 8 bracket. So yeah, it's called Millennium Crush. They use the Millennium Eye skill, and if you don't know what this does, then don't be surprised. You look at your opponent's hand at the start of the duel, and you get to choose to make them mulligan it or keep it. So either A, get hand knowledge, B, you make them mulligan their hand back into their deck. So yeah, why is it called Millennium Crush? Because this, keyed with Mind Crush, gets like pieces that your opponent needs out of their hands. Like, this is really, really good comboed together, and it's really cool that it got top 4. The main deck consists of Breaker the Magical Warrior at 3, DD Warrior Lady at 3, Cyber Dragon at 2, and Dark Ruler Hades. Book of Moon is also played at 3. Again, the Mind Crushers are here at 3. Wall of Disruption is played at 2, and Zum is played at 3. So this deck is literally just a deck of good cards paired with the Millennium Mind Crush deck. It's like a anti-meta-esque deck, and it's really, really good. Going into the side deck, though, it's Waking the Dragons being played at 2, Jar of Avarice, Lost Wind, and then 2 Kaiku. That way you can get cards out of your opponent's graveyard, prevent your opponent from banishing cards. It's really good in the XYZ matchup. And then Cyber Dragon, Destiny Dragoon, Cyber Blader, 2 Arcana Knight Joker, and Ojama King, all for the Waking the Dragon. Sophie, or Sofa Cord, is who got top 4 as well, playing Moss. Again, this is the standard Moss build you're ever going to see, with the 2 Parasite, or the 3 Parasite, double Moss, triple Breaker, triple DD Warrior Lady, triple Book of Moon, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, triple Zoma, and then the only new tech for this is going to be the Wall Disruption, right? The side deck is really interesting, though, because you got your double Mind Crush for your Cyber Angel matchup. You got your straight flush in here as well for the Burn Warrior deck. Also, Jinzo's here for the Burn Warrior deck. And then you play double No Mana Crossout in the side deck, and that way you can get rid of your opponent's pesky DD Warrior Ladies that they're setting while you got Moss face up on the field. And then, yeah, this is your extra deck. It's just a bluff. Going into second place, we have Spellproof Armor, which is crazy to see. Spellproof got second this format, but it's also one of those things where it's not surprising me to see that it's placing like it is. It's probably one of the most fearsome decks in this current format, because not only are we in this like stall variant of the format, but like the most strongest deck, which we all can argue is Moss, this kind of just loses to Spellproof. So seeing it in second place does not surprise me, especially if you look at top 8 being 2 different Moss decks in there. Like, Spellproof definitely is one of those decks where you're just like, yeah, I know why you're in second. But yeah, the deck is pretty standard with these 3 Cyber Dragons, 3 Jinzo, 3 Allied Justice Colossus, but they play 1 Blastsphere in here, which is also really unique, but kind of has the same reason for me not liking it as for me not liking Tenchi in this deck, in this format, because of the No Mana Crossout. But he got second to play, so I digress. I could be completely wrong. Book of Moon is also played at 3 in this deck, with the 2 double Cyclone, standard for what you will see. 1 Solitary Sword of Poison in the last Spellproof deck. This was actually in the side deck, but in this deck we're actually playing in main deck, which makes a lot of sense. It turns 1 monster on your field into a boss monster, right? And that is very good, because like these guys cannot necessarily climb any of these stronger monsters in this current format, so Solitary Sword of Poison makes it to where they can. Soul Exchange is also playing this deck to get rid of problematic monsters, attribute summon your monsters, being Jinzo, Cyber Dragon, or Colossus. Summoners are being played at 2, makes it to where your allied as a Colossus is played at 5 copies. Shockwave is becoming more and more known to be played in the Spellproof decks. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this card. And then the 1 Floodgate Trap Hole is actually played in the main deck. The side deck is actually with the 2D fusion. That way you don't run into Dragoon. Dragoon is actually the bane to Spellproof's existence, so having this in the deck at 2 is very smart. No Mana Crossout is being played at 1. Again, it's really good this format because of the DD Warrior Ladies. Floodgate Trap Hole gets its second and third copy in the side deck here. It's really good against Cyber Angels and like most decks in the current meta, especially because these guys are not the strongest in attack points against specific cards, so setting them face down it's very good. Overload Fusion is also being played in the side deck. This is just so you can bring out your Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, and then the rest of these cards are definitely a bluff. And our first place deck of the Speed Duel League 20th Win-A-Box tournament. It's Relinquished. Yeah. Are you as surprised as I am? Because when I saw this, I was like, there's no way this is real. Yeah, Relinquished won this. Don't ask me how. I know how. I saw the games. But the deck is absurd. It plays the skill Shadow Reborn, and what this does is you pay half your life points to Monster Reborn a card from your graveyard. So yeah, that's really good. The only thing is your opponent doesn't take damage that turn, but you're kind of just controlling your opponent, stalling them out, or you're just going for games. So like, your life point count doesn't necessarily matter at times in this deck. But yeah, for the Relinquish package, you play triple Relinquish, triple Illusionist, Faceless Magician, and triple Black Illusion Ritual. Relinquish sucks up problematic monsters. Illusion Faceless Magician floats the Relinquished from the graveyard. Then if Relinquished dies, it floats the Faceless Magician back to the field, all due to Faceless Magician's effect. So this in itself is just an infinite stall card. And then black Illusion Ritual, is just a ritual card for it. So yeah, we also play a pre-prepper for rights, pre-preparation of rights, and this card just makes it to where you can continuously get the relinquishes to your hand. In a 30 card deck, you really need cards like this. So being able to not only add your Black Illusion Ritual to hand from deck, you can add your relinquishes from deck or graveyard to hand, and then, like I said, you have it ready to bring out and get rid of problematic monsters. Speaking of getting rid of problematic cards, we play Triple Breaker in this deck and Triple Deity Warrior Lady. So we're not only getting rid of spell and trap cards, but we're continuously getting rid of those monsters every single time. And then we still have the back row hate being the Jinzo. So it's like these cards here really do help back up the relinquished and get rid of like problematic cards that, it can't get rid of on its own. Sphere of Karibo can not only protect your monsters from battle by discarding it to the graveyard to switch monsters to defense mode, but it can also be banished from your graveyard due to its effect to summon out Relinquished. Like, you banish it for the ritual summon to bring out Relinquished. It's very, very good, and it's awesome that you can use this tech in this deck because it's such a good hand trap in Speed Duels, but it just works so well in Relinquished as well. Allure of Darkness is played at 2 to get some draw power in case you need to get cards you need. And then Book of Moon is also played at 3 in this deck just to, protect your monsters from battle. Stop certain plays. Like, we don't play the Cosmics, so if your opponent goes to activate Parasite, you just book your cards face down. Floodgate Trap Hole is also played at 3 in this deck, which just kind of helps against the Cyber Angels. And speaking of Cyber Angels, we play Triple Mind Crush. Like, this side deck is actually very unique in that aspect because, like, does not want to play against Cyber Angels, as you can see with the Triple Mind Crush, Triple Floodgate Trap Hole, so we have the outs to it. And then we also have back row hate like Jinzo and Cosmic Cyclone for when we play against the stall decks. It's just a genuinely good deck, and I'm not really surprised now that I'm looking at it and showcasing it that Ariella won with this. It's just shocks me that this first place list is not the Cyber Angel deck, but the Relinquish deck. So yeah. Relinquish is the best ritual deck, guys. Hands down. All in all, though, if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure you leave a like on this video. If you guys want to be a part of the next Win-A-Box, go ahead and join the Speed Duel League Discord. Link for it's going to be in the description down below. And yeah, I want you all to have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.